Welcome to the Ref Room. Hockey talk for referees, coaches, players, and fans.
Broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
With your hosts, Smokin, Silz, and Baumruck.
Live.
The Ref Room starts right now.
And now your host.
Oh, yeah, it is Wednesday. Welcome to the Ref Room, everybody. I'm Smokin, Silz, along with my man, Baumruck. We are coming to you live from Chicago. And are we back to Groundhog Day?
Groundhog Day.
Groundhog Day, yeah. It all starts again. So the NHL is shutting down, or has shut down. That's going to happen.
Yeah, for a couple days.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And then, they're not going to the Olympics now. Another big story in the news. So who's going? Are we going to have the AHL going?
I don't know. I mean, the interesting part, the last time the NHL guys didn't go, the AHL guys didn't go either. So
yeah,
I would assume probably not. I mean, there's a lot of players out there, so they'll find somebody, I'm sure.
Yeah. If you got a high school team, give them a call. They might be ready to take you.
I think you're stretching that a little far.
All right. Well, I don't know. Will we send a World Junior team or something? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. But, unfortunately, I know that really they didn't want to go in the first place. Let's be real honest. I don't think they wanted to go. And the reason they didn't want to go is because the games are going to be broadcast at like 3 o'clock in the morning here in the United States, roughly. It's like the middle of the night. I don't think they're going to get the audience. It's a sport you want to watch live. So there was talk before about that was kind of an issue. But I think the CBA that they have allows them to go. Like if they want to go, they get to go. So
correct. Well, the other interesting part too was, Scott, is when they announced that if you popped a positive test, that you had to stay there for 3 weeks or more.
Yeah, actually, that's a really interesting point because last night I had the pleasure of working with Billy Hancock, who is one of our top referees here. He works the AHL, and Billy is in line to go to the Olympics. I don't know I don't know where he stands on this. We're going to have him on the show to talk about this. We talked about it last night a little bit, but he was saying that, if you do pop a positive test, you're quarantined for 15 days. So you are quarantined going. You have to do 5 days before you get tested on your own in your house. Then you got to go get your test. Then once you go, you've got to get there. I think you have to be there 5 days and with another test. But if then you're free to do whatever they'll let you do in China. I don't know that they'll let you do much because I don't know how much is open. But then, like you get the Olympic Village. But if you pop a test there, now you're down for 15 more days or 14 days. And if you pop another one, it's like another 50. You could be there for eternity, basically. You could literally be spending a month or two in China. And there's no direct flights back. Like there's no flight from Beijing back to Chicago. So they got to figure out a lot of stuff. It's going to be kind of interesting. For all you guys that are joining us, thank you for joining us. Of course, say hello, put it in the comments, especially if you're new to the show. If you've never been on, pop a comment in there. Tell us where you're calling or where you're from and where you're watching. Where you're calling from.
Where you're calling from.
Yeah, for the caller. By the way, we're broadcasting in 4K today. Haven't done that, so we'll see how the stream goes. I figure, it's the holidays. Let's do it. So we got a 4K broadcast going today. Normally we do 1080. We're bumping it up a couple notches here and see how it looks.
Well, Scott, the good thing is it's like our 18th or 19th month anniversary. So I remember the first show and how that looked. If anybody wants to go see something funny, go ahead and go pop that on. Yeah. And we still haven't deleted those. We probably should.
We should. But the audio is horrible on it. I mean, the whole thing was a mess. I mean, it was debacle when we started. Let's not kid ourselves.
It was still fun.
All right, but hey, we were only doing this for 3 weeks. Remember, Brad? And here we are.
6.
Yeah. By the way, Brad's got his Christmas sweater on. Now, I don't know if you were brave enough, but I wore mine for more than a week. I probably worked 5 or 6 games in that thing at least. And I got nothing but compliments from the players. The players all got a kick out of it. The coaches loved it. Even parents would come over and that sweater is awesome. So, kudos to Eric who created that thing. And they were a lot of fun. I mean, I'm sure I looked like an idiot out there, but why? I normally look like one anyway. So what's the difference? At least I could make a bad call and get away with it. With that sweater on, nobody could take you seriously.
Well, it's Christmas time, so you can give them the free plug, and then you can also give somebody that's having some equipment sale, because that's a good information to everybody. So Hockey Ref Shop makes these.
Yep.
Just so everybody knows.
Yep.
And then I saw Reek is having their annual Christmas sale.
Really?
Yep.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling people. So if you missed it, go check it out. They're doing their annual Christmas sale, so we'll give a couple free ones to friends.
Okay, so a couple free plugs there for our friends.
All right, so let's
get some people checking in. Oh man,
there you go.
That's kind of small. I guess I'll need to bump that up a little bit so you guys can see it. Brian says, "What's happening, boys? Yeah, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Same to you, Brian. Always a pleasure." Yep. Karen said, "I read the last time they sent college and juniors. Talking about going to China. I mean, that's very possible. Either way, I mean, it'll make for a great story. It'll make, it's going to give some people an opportunity to really shine and possibly open up an NHL career for somebody. So I encourage that. I mean, I think that would be awesome. I liked when we used to have the kids, the amateur players playing. I mean, against the pros. Only good things can happen. I mean, the miracle on ice. That's how that happened.
Scott, they weren't pros. They were Army employees. There's a difference.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. Playing against the government employees. Right. Yes.
That only played hockey. All right.
Yeah, Brad, did you get Scott a Christmas gift? How's Frankie? Well, Frankie's around here somewhere. I think she's upstairs. She got a bath yesterday. She's all looking good. So she's all cleaned up. Yeah, she probably is. Had to leave her for an hour. Mark Bialco says, "What's happening? Hey, boys, first-time caller. All right, first-time listener. Roof. Yeah, there you go. Thank you for that. Already some game canceled because of games. Yes, that is true. I mean, we have lost a couple weeks of hockey, I guess, until after the first of the year, probably. Yeah. Hey, I got news for you. I was disappointed at first. I mean, there weren't a lot of games out there in the first place because with Christmas falling on a Saturday, that kind of messed everybody up, I think, for scheduling. Is that correct?
And Christmas is falling on a Saturday, so you're not going to play any games on that Saturday or Sunday. And Friday, you might slip a couple in there, but then it's also the 2-week conundrum because the New Year's Day is the Saturday after. So a lot of people don't want to do stuff. I know that there are some tournaments every once in a while. Yeah. But when it falls in the weekend, it really messes a lot of things up. But it did. Also, with how many referees that are skating and how many people have stepped up, it's probably a good thing that they get a little bit of a break.
Well, that's what I was going to say. The body could use a little rest. It's probably not the worst thing happening. Everybody can kind of, get a breather. Just don't want to get out of shape. I mean, for me, I can get out of shape real quickly. I don't know about you, but, take a week off, 10 days off. It's going to take a couple games to get back in full effect.
Into the swing of it.
Into the swing. Yeah, the swing of things.
So, all right, Scott, so let's get over to this 2-10 clickbait that we put up there.
Oh, yeah, you want to go to that already?
All right. Let's go to it.
All right, let's go there. So, Brad, well, first of all, Brad and I have our pregame meetings, the phone calls. The one last night lasted 4 hours and 37 minutes. You don't think either one of us were on a tirade about something? Yeah.
I thought I told you not to tell anybody.
Don't tell anybody. Yeah. 4 hours. I came home from my game early. I'm like, oh, good. I could sit upstairs, watch some TV, and relax. We were on the phone for 4 hours. Did I say 4 hours and 37 minutes? Because I actually took a picture of it to prove it. So
we don't need to put that
crazy
up there.
Yeah, I know.
It was a heated debate going back and forth. I'll admit that, and there's no hard feelings. That's the best part about it. So
we're still talking, so that's good.
Well, yeah, it'd be weird if we were on here just giving each other the silent treatment.
Right.
But anyway, so we put that up there as a little 2-10. Has it become the new normal minor? And the reasoning behind that was, with all the games that I've been officiating, I thought of it the other day and I brought it up to Scott. He was like, wow, it's a great topic. So Here's what we want to talk about, and it's not that it's the new minor penalty. We understand that it's still a more severe penalty, but where we're going with it, is it working the way that it's intended to? Because the 2 and 10 checking from behind when it first came out was a pretty big deterrent. Then you had head contact in there, which I understand, but now you have the other ones that fall underneath that category. And is it working? Scott, in my opinion, I don't know. What do you think? Let's see what the people think too.
Yeah, what do you guys put in the comments? Do you think the 2 and 10 is a enough deterrent to stop people from, committing the checks that we want to get out of hockey? I guess that's the best way to put it.
That's a good way of putting it.
Those are the hits we want to take out of hockey, or at least USA Hockey wants to take out of hockey, right? I mean, we do too. I mean, I don't want to see somebody get blown up or, crushed like that. I mean, we want them to be able to stay and enjoy the game, But so we'll wait for some comments to come in if you think that's enough, and we'll kind of go from there.
That's the question, because I remember when the 2 and 10 checking from behind came out. Guys would label it charging, boarding, just so they could call a 2-minute minor because they didn't want to get yelled at about the 2 and 10. And now it's, to me, and this is my own personal opinion, it almost seems like the teams and coaches are like, he'll be back in 12 minutes. I mean, unless you're seeing different, Scott. I mean, or anybody else wants to chime in on this. I mean, what do you think?
I don't think anybody wants a 12-minute penalty. I mean, that's almost a period for a lot of the players. Let's not kid ourselves.
That's true.
You got to put somebody, somebody that's sitting on the bench that didn't do anything's got to now go to the penalty box for 2 minutes. I'm sure that kid doesn't want to go. He's going to miss a shift.
Agreed.
I mean, that's a shift loss. So I would say that, no, I mean, it is a deterrent. I don't think we see as many as we used to see. I think a lot of the kids have gotten smarter about knowing when they need to back off. I mean, it happens. We still have 2 and 10s. But, I guess if USA Hockey took roughing away from us, we'd be in trouble. That would be major. Like, they took the 5-minute major away from us, the standalone 5-minute major, which was a really good tool. A really good tool to control a game. And now you have to go 5 in a game. Now, when you do go 5 in a game, you are, the coaches are not going to be happy with you. They don't like it. I'm not saying that they don't like it because, they don't like it, but they don't want to see their guys going home, and they don't want to see their kids suspended, because it does come with a game suspension. Now, if you got some knucklehead in the last 2 or 3 minutes of the game that goes and does something stupid, I think you're missing an opportunity to send a message by not giving that kid the 5 in a game. Because otherwise he's not going to sit the penalty. He's going to do something stupid. He could potentially really hurt somebody, and then he walks away and he's got nothing. That's like even the knucklehead that does something in the handshake line, like, big deal, I'm done. So he gives me a 2-minute, or he gives me a 2 and a 10, or he gives me a misconduct. I don't have to sit it anyway. So I think you make a statement there by giving something that actually makes them sit, and then the next referee coming in to work their game won't have to put up with that nonsense towards the end of a game that may not be as competitive as, each team would like it to be.
Scott, so I get where you're going with this. So in order, when you're in between a 2 and a 10 and a 5 in a game, near the end of the game, in order to penalize the player properly, you're feeling along the lines of a 2 and 10 wouldn't be enough at the end of a game or in the handshake line.
Yep.
As much as a 5 in a game would be as a deterrent, because the next referee crew that's coming in behind him would then be alleviated of said issue. I understand where you're going with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying the big point is here, like, we already had a comment come in, and it's kind of along where I have the feeling lately is it just doesn't seem like the 2 and 10, it doesn't seem like they really give too much of a concern or thought process about it. It's just, they're sitting in the box for 12 minutes. So it's one of those things that I don't know if it's working, because, I've handed out more 2 and 10s this year than I have probably in the past 4 or 5. I mean, I've handed out a lot of them. I've seen guys hit guys in the head. Like, and it's not the new checking emphasis. This is penalties that would have been penalties 10 years ago, but they'd be elbowing. Yeah. Okay, and that's a big problem that I see is the elbowing penalties, the 5-minute standalones. They weren't being utilized properly by the referees. Yeah. So now they've had to go to this new standard of, okay, now boarding, charging. These are all 2 and 10s, because we didn't call elbowing. If you think about it, how often do you have an elbow that's in the chest? I mean, it's still a penalty, but how often do you have it happen?
Not as much as you would think.
I think I've called elbowing twice this season, and it was like the old heave ho when the guys,
you're up against the boards and wham.
yeah. So but most of the time it's a guy chicken wings his elbow out and hits the guy in the head. Yeah. So it used to be the 2 and 10. Now I have 2 and 10 option on that elbowing, or 5 in a game, when the 5-minute was stating clearly, we're done with this. Anybody else crosses this line, we're throwing you out of the game.
Right.
So I just don't know how it works for us, and I don't know how everybody else feels about it. We only got one comment that says that that they don't really care that much, but it's one of those things that I don't know if it's being utilized, and it's a big deterrent anymore. I think it was when it was before, but I just don't see it being the same thing as it was. I think it's almost becoming it's a minor. It's like coincidentals at this point.
Yeah.
They don't even think about coincidentals.
Well, that's something I actually want to bring up here, too. Let's talk about this, because let's talk about game management. With the new change in the rules this year, we now have, if you get 4 penalties, you're automatically ejected from the game, and you get a game suspension. It's not a lot. I mean, you have a 2 and a 10, maybe you get a tripping call, or something, that you're making a play, a defenseman holds a guy coming in, whatever. Easy to run up 3, maybe 4 penalties at that point. Or
very easy.
Let's say, the guy gets a penalty, and then all of a sudden he, takes the stick, doesn't like the call, and slams it against the glass, and he's got his misconduct or whatever, and all of a sudden now, he's looking at 4 penalties pretty quickly again.
Yep.
So I think, with this new standard, you're going to have coaches being ejected. Now, I ran into a coach, and I don't want to say who it is, but definitely I'll help you a little bit. He was a referee, a good referee. He coaches now. And I think he's facing a 3-game suspension right now. He had a referee that maybe the standard's a little tighter than some of the other guys. And before he knew it, he's got 12 penalties.
Agree. I get.
And it's not the first time this year your team's had 12 penalties. So, as we make these calls, and as we, like when you're in a situation where you're trying to, I'm taking both players. Well, it's real easy to take 2 players consistently, but you're running the penalty totals up. If you had a player, you say you want to go, I'm going to go 4 minutes. I'm going to give him a double minor. I'm going to give him a single minor. Well, that's 2 penalties racked up towards the 12. Right. So all of a sudden, those penalties, where you could just have a 2-minute penalty on the one team, that's ideally what you were looking to have anyway. And, the coaches are like, well, why aren't you taking both guys? Well, maybe you're doing the coach a favor by not taking both guys, because you're not running his penalty total up where he's going to get suspended. So there's a management tool there, too, for the referee. That's something that we don't really talk about a lot.
Scott, I'll make one point, and then we'll talk about this part on top of it. As a coach, if I'm coaching and I see a referee that is calling a tight standard, all right, maybe more than I even care about, how do I not coach my players into that standard?
You make a great point. I mean, you should be coaching your players into that standard. The players should be aware of what's going on. They should be watching the game enough to see what is allowed and what is not allowed in that game, what the standard is and what the standard has been set at. I mean, if you're, letting them hit, then, it's probably safe. But if like everything's being called pretty tightly, then you might want to pay attention here to what you're doing when you get out on your shift.
Correct. And I'm not putting any referees down. There's just there are there are different skilled players just as there are different skilled referees, and that's not to put anybody down.
Right.
But it's just the reality of it. There's different referees, there's different personalities, and also on top of it, you don't know what that person's gone through that day.
Right. But there's also different levels of play. The players,
correct.
There's different levels. At a higher level, they're going to be banging a little bit more. But they know
correct.
what to do. They know how to do it. But, if you've got you're working a squirt or a peewee game and you got a trip in the neutral zone, you got a trip in the neutral zone. They need to learn. It's a different standard. Like, that's a penalty, guys. You need to learn that. Now, you get to, midget AAA,
did the puck go off?
He may have tripped over the blue line at that point. You just don't know.
Right. Yeah.
It's a game management thing. You got to.
I'm with you.
That's the difference in the referees that are working the good games. They know what to do. They know how to manage the game, honestly. In a lot of cases.
The game,
so
a penalty is a reset to a game that's starting to go off track. Normally. There are the scoring opportunities where it's just a defenseman going, man, this guy's got me beat. I'm taking a penalty here so that they don't get that opportunity.
Yep.
Which, hey, I'm going to tell you this. Every time I see a defenseman that hooks a guy or trips a guy or something like that because they know they're beat and they're exhausted, on the way to the box almost every time I'm like, hey, that was a great penalty. Like, I totally get it. Like, and, they give you a little smile like, yeah, I totally had to. Like, but I'll tell you, as a player, I had to do that. I'm like,
of course,
we all did. It is, so, but no, I agree with you. But going back to this, the coincidental minors. Coincidental minors, I think they don't serve the same purpose as a regular penalty. Like you pointed out, if you're going to give one team 4 and the other team 2, is there a point to take that tit for tat that's going back and forth, or should you just take the root of the problem?
Yeah.
And that's the big thing.
I agree, and I like, I don't know, I'll let you give your opinion on this.
No, I'm with you. I think you take the root of the problem. If everything else equals out, you can leave him on the ice.
When you got 2 guys going to the box, have you really made a point? Other than 2 guys that just look like 2 idiots doing something they shouldn't be doing, they need to both go sit down. I get that. But, you got a scrum, maybe not even a scrum, but a play in front of the net. If you're going to take somebody, then put somebody down. It'll stop it. If you're trying to stop it, taking one will hopefully deter them, just like is the 5 in a game a deterrent versus a 2 in a 10 versus a 2? There is a deterrent factor. So if you do take somebody in that situation, you are trying to make a statement that we are not going to put up with this and somebody is going to sit. And usually when you put somebody down, it gets their attention. More so than taking 2 guys. Coaches, like, are we 5-on-5? We're all good. They got no problem. Like, okay, we just dealt with the issue we had and we move on and no harm, no foul. But suddenly when some team's going down for 2 minutes, that gets their attention a little quicker.
That's when you hear, why are you taking just him? And, my standard response a lot of times is it's totally the truth. If your guy wouldn't have done this, we wouldn't even be in this situation. He started all this.
Exactly.
Get your guys under control.
Get the guy that starts the problem. The problem, the troublemaker is the one you want to get in that situation. Whoever initiated, who caused the whole disturbance, that's the guy you want to go get. So.
In most cases. That's why NCAA hockey, though, they play 4-on-4 if they're 5-on-5. They'll play 4-on-4 for the minors, coincidental minors, not coincidental majors.
Right.
Not 4 guys going to the box, 2 from each team, 2 from each team. They don't play 3-on-3. They just play 4-on-4. If it's 5-on-5, okay, they have to be full strength. Only 1 guy from each team, 2 minutes. If they're 5-on-4 and you put 2 guys in the box, they stay 5-on-4. Let's just put it that way. But USA Hockey, they stay 5-on-5 no matter what.
And the best penalty they have in college hockey is who sits the goalie's misconduct.
All right, you want to talk
the goalie?
Well, no. There's that. It goes a little further than that.
Yeah.
So if a goaltender gets a misconduct, the goaltender gets to skate over. This is in a couple levels of pro hockey too. They get to sit in the bench for 10 minutes. If the goalie receives a standalone 5-minute major, he gets to skate over to the box and sit in the penalty bench for 5 minutes, and he gets a friend because somebody has to sit in the box with him. So that it's amusing, and
he goes with supervision.
It's one of those.
The buddies to watch over him, so he doesn't hurt himself while he's in there.
Well, yeah. If you're a starting goaltender and you take a 5-minute major and you're sitting in the box, yeah, I would feel shame. Then you get freed. Let's put it that way.
Exactly. But you don't get freed till the whistle. Your buddy gets freed first. So
correct.
You'll be sitting in there by yourself at some point. So
that is correct.
Yeah. But anyway. But, you talk about a great deterrent. I mean, you do have goalies that do some crazy stuff. And
Patrick Waugh.
Do they pay the price? Maybe not. Their teammate pays the price. Now, that doesn't mean that he doesn't pay the price when he gets in the dressing room at the end of the night. Because somebody's probably not going to be happy with him that they just sat a period of hockey, for some shenanigan.
Yeah, if you think about it, 5 minutes in a 15-minute period, length game, that's a third of a period. That's 33.3%.
Right.
We're not going to get it.
A 10 minute. Let's say he gets the 10. He's sitting, 2/3 of a period. It's a lot.
Well, I think a lot of referees would give the goalie
now.
The
Now you got to put your backup goaltender in who may not be prepared or maybe may not be psyched up to play at that point. He's got to come in a cold situation. Not the best thing.
Or worse, you don't have a backup goalie.
Well, that's where I was going next. You got to put a defenseman back there or play 6, you'd be playing 5 at that point because you got somebody in the box. But
the NCAA, they can't play without a backup. They have to have a backup goalie.
Yeah.
The ACHA levels, that varies.
I'm guessing that's why USA Hockey doesn't have this rule because, not every team has 2 goalies.
It's probably a rostering issue plus... Oh, there we go.
Yeah, it's Wednesday.
Who's calling?
Scam call.
No, that's good.
Another scammer.
There's a little button on the side of the phone, and it looks red. I know you have an iPhone. You just flip that, and you won't hear those anymore.
Okay, done deal.
All right, so getting back to this 2 and 10. So, Scott, what do you think of the 2 and 10? Do you think it serves its purpose, or do you think it's lost in translation? Do you like the calls that carry 2 and 10? Do you think there should be more?
Well, now you've got the fine line sometimes between the 2 and the 10 and the 5 in a game because, typically if you have a hit like that is given out, chances are it's going to be a bad hit anyway. And a lot of times that 2 and 10, what would have been a 2 and 10 is now going to be a 5 in a game because you've got a player that's hurt. And those are checks that are going to lead to problems. If you've got, a guy coming in and getting somebody from behind, chances are, it's bad. It's bad. Yeah. Now we do have, you do have 2 and 10s. You got a guy that, head contact comes across. It's 2 and 10. Nobody likes it. Nobody wants to serve it. Coaches aren't happy with it. It's a can of worms every time. It's never pleasant.
Scott, you know what? The reason I started thinking about this was I had a guy, and he clearly came across the ice, and he hit this guy right in the head, right? Luckily, the kid got right back up. I mean, whatever, Did he do it on purpose? You could say, I'd say 50-50 would be the toss-up. I don't know if he was skilled enough to do it on purpose. Let's put it that way. So I put the guy in the box for 2 and 10, and the coach's response, and he says it right to his player in front of his whole bench. That doesn't matter. That wasn't right anyways. Now, his guy's sitting in the box for 12 minutes. He's got to put another guy in the box, and his response, instead of, hey, you hit that guy in the head, his response was, that's not right anyways.
Well, that's a coaching problem because you do have coaches that see an intimidating hit delivered during a game and they don't like it, even though it's their team delivering it. They will, pull their player off the ice. That kid may serve as 2 and 10. The coach may send him home. Some of the good coaches, when they see something like that's stupid, they'll send the player home. That's a
correct.
good coach.
I agree with
They're
you.
supporting your call. And they don't want to see that either. They don't want to see somebody getting hurt and somebody doing something stupid. They're trying to correct the problem. That's a beautiful thing. I don't think it happens enough. I was working a game and I wasn't the referee, but a 5 in a game was given to a player and the coach felt it should be a double minor. It's like, where do you come up with the double minor on this? Like, that's pure head contact. Like, you just crushed this kid. The kid is being scraped up off the ice. How do you come up with a double minor? But, coaches see things differently, or they worked, they played in different leagues, just like, they think a missed icing, it comes back to center ice, and it doesn't. It's like they don't always know the rules of the league that they're playing in. You know what I mean? It happens.
And I'm with you. I get it. And I get that, their perception is one-sided. I understand that.
It is.
But then again, though, the argument that I have is if your player just got drilled in the head, how would you be dealing with that? And not only that, as the coach, you're supposed to be teaching your players.
Yeah.
Right? And then here's what furthered this. So I had that happen at the beginning of the morning. I had like a four games in a row. And I had that happen at the beginning. And then, like 2 games later, I had a Bantam level player, and he deliberately targeted the head.
Yeah.
I mean, he came across the ice and destroyed this guy. So, arm goes up, I throw him off the ice. Assistant coach, they actually pick the kid up, they take him to the locker room. Like, literally, they take him off the ice because he's on the ice. Now, I was throwing this kid out anyways. It didn't really matter because he targeted the head.
It was reckless. It was reckless.
Right,
That's
it was
5 in a
totally
game.
reckless.
Yep.
And he targeted the head. And I have an assistant coach tell me, well, he's going to be back in one shift anyways. And I turned to him and I'm like, are you serious right now? I go, we're not going to have players targeting each other's heads. I go, this is just not going to happen. Do you understand me? And he was going to start with me again, and the head coach grabbed him by the jacket. He's like, hey, we're not going to be doing this right now. Like, I would back off.
And that was that the assistant coach or the doorman? Which?
Well, he wasn't the doorman because he was standing up on his perch, and so was the head coach. And I like to say perch. And I say that to coaches every once in a while. I want you to jump off your perch. But he was up there. He wasn't opening any doors, but he was the assistant coach. I can tell you that 100%. Yeah. But it's like, really, dude? Like, come on. Like, if you didn't see that guy hit that guy in the head, I don't know what we're doing here. And I don't know what you're teaching and how you feel about this. But I can tell you this. Again, it wasn't because the player was on the ice or they took him off the ice, which the kid did come back like a period and a half later. And he sat on the bench. He didn't even play anymore. Yeah, so you just remove that player from the game, and I'm supposed to give him, what, a 2-minute minor? No, have a nice day.
Exactly. And so, that's where you just need to step up and do it, guys. I mean, that's the right call. That's the right thing to do. Yep. It's the right thing for the game. It's the right, it's the right thing for the next ref coming in to work the next game behind you, because otherwise they're going to deal with the same problems and how it gets handled. A lot of times you have nowadays, I mean, we have some less experienced officials working some games. They're learning. And that's a point, guys. And coaches, keep in mind, you're not in the NHL, and the referees aren't in the NHL. We have people that are newer. Well, I know where you're going with that. They're in the NHL until they shoot the puck out of the rink, and you're going to give them a delay of game penalty, okay? Then they're no longer in the NHL. They're like, no, USA Hockey, we could do that, yes. But
not goalies.
Right. That's right.
Let's make this clear.
Yep, you're right. I stand corrected. I mean, we didn't get totally technical there. I said play. Well, yeah, I didn't say goalie, but yeah, players. But the point I'm making, I guess, is if we set some of these standards, we're helping the next official behind us, because where you may be able to take a little more grief from a bench or from a coach, the next guy may not be able to. He may not have enough experience to deal with that situation as well. So if the better referees that know what they're doing can nip things in the bud and try to make it better for the guy coming behind them, I guess. Does that make sense?
Well, no, that makes sense. But I think what I'm going to expand on it, if that's okay, Scott.
Yeah, please.
I get to where the short-term view is the referees coming in the next game or 2 games. Our view should be from the beginning of the season, starting in September or October, whenever they decide to start nowadays. That our view should be, oh God, I hate this slide. I told you that.
But the referee, okay.
Our view should be, what are they going to be doing in February and March? Yeah. That's what we should. The whole season is geared towards playoffs. So the officiating should teach them the standard throughout the season to the standard that they are going to have in playoffs, which everybody, it changes, but you need to keep compounding these lessons throughout the season. It's better to take a 2 and a 10 in October than it is to take it in February or March.
It's a teaching moment at that time. We'll
correct.
call it a teaching moment. That's a good time to teach somebody. That's not how you do it.
Right. And as much as we say game management, yes, 100% game management in the higher levels. Lower levels is always teaching. Right. But in the higher levels, too, it's just reiterating the teaching that they've already had growing up. Hey, this isn't going to be allowed in this level of hockey, the higher levels of hockey, especially when we get to playoffs. And that's where nobody wants to take a penalty.
Yep.
I mean,
but you do see it, and you do see it like an obvious, like, what was that kid even thinking, taking that 2 and it's going to be a 2 and a 10. There's no question about it at that level. You have a high-level game, and somebody does something like that. That's stupid. They need to go sit, and nobody's going to be happy about it, especially the coaches, because they know the player knows better than to do that. And it is a playoff game.
I agree. And you know what? By the time you get to playoffs, though, they should have already had 6 months of this already be pounded down their head, watching everybody else or them personally getting it. Now, I'm not going to say that everybody learns, because there's a player that was here in Chicago that graduated about 3 years ago. I'll never forget this. I'm watching his state round robin. They're playing the 3 games or whatever the heck it is.
Yeah.
And every one of his games, including mine that I had on Sunday, when they were already mathematically eliminated, every one of them, because I watched them from the stands, he picked the puck off the ice during a stoppage and threw it over the boards. Including my game, and I penalized him for it.
Good.
Why did he do it? Because he's a jerk. That's the only reason why he did it.
Yeah.
I mean...
And he's affecting his whole team. He doesn't realize, like, you're affecting your team. You just put your team down again. Your team's already losing.
He didn't care.
It's not pretty for them. They're trying to get through this, and you're making it worse. Like,
definitely making my day worse.
You do have some knuckleheads out there.
No, I agree.
Just
so
call
I'm
it the way it is. There are some guys that are just knuckleheads.
There's
that's
players
the best way to describe it.
There's players that don't really want to play too. So, their parents force them or whatever. I know there was a guy when I played, he would come out and say it. Like, when we'd line up for a face-off, he's like, I'm being forced to be here. I won't be here very long. And then he would get ejected.
Wow.
Like,
I don't think I've experienced that. And, I really didn't even think about that, to be honest with you, Brad. I mean, you think all the guys that are out there are playing with passion because they love the game and they want to be there. And unfortunately, that's probably the case. There are people that are being pushed into something. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. But, then you need to do the right thing for the game. And if the right thing is to send the guy packing, then, that's
send
what you got to do. Yep.
And I'm not condoning throwing players out left and right. I'm really not.
No, absolutely not.
If it's warranted and the game needs it, okay, that's the big thing. Again, penalties are a reset to a game. If the player needs to be ejected for safety, recklessness, they're over the line, players do things in the heat of the moment too. So also think about it this way, because I know a lot of people, I don't want to eject them, blah, 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 or whatever. Sometimes ejecting that player with a game misconduct can actually stop what's going to happen to them as well.
Yeah.
So you're not only looking out just for that player that got injured or whatnot, you're also still kind of, in a way, looking out for the player that caused that injury because
he could be targeted. He could be targeted.
Well, what if it's one of those hits where They're coming across the ice. They don't mean to get him. They hit him right in the head and knock the guy out. Okay? All right, well, we'll give him a 2 and a 10. Well, okay, it was reckless. The guy's injured on top of it. How do you think it's going to be when he comes back out onto the ice? It's not going to be good for him. It's not going to be good for you. It's not going to be good for the game.
Right.
Removing that player from the game is the best ground to stand on, in my opinion.
It's a game management. That's game management right there. You know.
We said game management a lot in the past 48 hours.
Game management. Well, so yeah.
All right, so
you know, the other one that I'm a big proponent of calling is when guys stick the leg out. I don't care if the guy goes down all the way or not. You stick your leg out with me. If I'm working your game, you're sitting. There's no reprieve on that. Get in the box. It's just a
you're talking about kneeing, correct, Scott?
It can be the knee, yes. The separation leg can also be sticking your skate out to try to trip somebody, which a lot of guys do. Guys going by them and they just stick their leg out to trip them. It's not even a knee. They're sticking the skate. They can't even get the leg out there. The leg's so short, but doesn't stop them from trying.
That sounds more like the reaction to getting beat than
yeah.
Whereas they stick that leg out there and they know they got that leg out there.
Yep.
So like kneeing to me is a big problem, and I don't understand why it's gotten into the game so much. But it's really been. Oh, somebody actually just put that. Check that out.
Let's see.
It's really gotten. More people are doing it in the game now, and I don't know if it's the skill level or. Go ahead, read it out.
Kneeing has been an epidemic the last 2 years. I've been getting 1 to 2 a game for the most. Wow. I don't know who that is.
I don't know about that. I've seen a lot of knees.
I would certainly hope not to have that, but you stick that leg out for me, you're going to the box.
Yep.
Plain and simple.
I'm with you.
Nothing good can come from that, and if you don't nip that in the bud, you're gonna have a problem because you're gonna have somebody get really hurt. You could end somebody's career with that one. Okay, honestly, that's
the big one.
That is
you can hinder their life.
Yes, yeah, that is a chicken play. I'll just put it that way. Chicken shit play. Okay, that's where I was going with it.
There you go. No,
there you go. Had to go there, but yeah,
I'm with you 100%. And I don't understand kneeing, mainly because I never thought of it as a player, and I used to do a lot of dirty things, but I use my stick mostly or my hands. I don't think I ever thought about putting the knee out on somebody. You put the knee out, you can get your knee taken off too really easily, okay? You can get hurt. Yeah. But you stick that leg out and if I make that call, I am going to be very verbal about that call so that the coaches on the bench know exactly why I'm calling that, and I don't get a lot of pushback on that when you make that call. Like, you stuck the leg out, that's a trip. Get in the box, or it's a knee, whatever the case may be, you're going. And if if you communicate it well, the coaches understand. You won't get pushback on that one. I don't think I've ever had a coach push back on that. Yeah, luckily I was just about to say that, Scott. In all the years I've been refereeing, I don't think I've ever had a coach push back on a kneeing call. Like I don't think I've ever had anybody argue with me about it. Maybe, hey, are you sure that he got him? You might get that. And I'll tell you this. I'll go over there and explain exactly what I saw. There's absolutely no way if your foot is turned sideways, okay, which that's generally how it happens, you're playing hockey at that point.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Hey, I just got a delivery.
Oh, did you? Anything good?
Yeah, but I don't know.
Did you get food? Is it food or is it goods?
I don't know. I did ask my wife before we started here to get food, right? So, but they didn't ring the doorbell. So
your food is there. So we still have time left on the show. Of course, if Brad's hungry, we have to quit now, everybody.
No, we're all good. No, you know what though? It's an excellent point though with this kneeing though.
Somebody said you could end your own career too, and you're absolutely right. That is a quick way to end your career at that point is to stick that leg out. Nothing good is going to come from it.
And like all the penalties, it doesn't belong in our game, but I think kneeing and slew footing are up there on the top two heinous criminal offenses.
Karen has an interesting comment here, too. She said, had a parent on box duty who was praising, encouraging players in the box, was ejected from the rink and the building. Well, good. Here's the thing. Sometimes you do have a big hit, and it's a penalty. They got him up high. You make the call, and the coaches tell the boy, oh, that was a good hit. That was a great hit. Did a great job, little Johnny.
Hey, Hun, you did a great job of getting the food, but yet you left the alarm on at the house. Good job. I love you.
Oh, is that what I'm hearing? Nice.
Yes.
So now there's a button there, Brad, that you can mute the alarm, just like you tell me to mute my phone. You can mute your alarm. Do you have to have an alarm on? I live in the city. I don't have an alarm on in my house when I'm in the house.
I do. Well, we don't normally have it on. It just nobody went outside yet.
You live in the middle of nowhere. Nobody's come. Nobody can find your house to get to your house. Who are you kidding? You're out in the middle of, right?
I am.
Matter of fact, Brad is so far out there. He's way, way out there. Yeah, that's how far out
Scott
Brad
found
is.
a new feature today.
It's not a new feature.
I know. I just feel like messing with you.
Okay. Well, that's why we get along so well. But anyway.
Yeah. All right.
Hang on. I'm getting a warning message here on the computer.
The heck with the warning message.
Right.
If the computer blows up, you'll be fine.
Yeah. We're all good. Anyway, we're broadcasting in 4K today, guys. We haven't done that before. We thought we'd push the limits of this software. And normally we do like 1080. So, let us know. Does broadcast look better?
Who knows?
I don't know. Looked pretty good before, I thought. My own personal opinion, but
if it's a good broadcast, go to buymeacoffee.com/refroom and buy us a coffee.
Yeah. Brad needs some caffeine. I could use some caffeine. You help support the channel. You can buy more than one coffee. You can buy us each a coffee, or you can buy us a couple coffees. It's up to you. But we do appreciate it because it helps support what we do here.
We should thank, too, that we've had quite an influx of people liking the page.
Yeah.
And also people that have been subscribing over to YouTube/C/refroom. See, I'm getting better at this.
Yeah.
But we appreciate it.
/C/refroom. That's where you want to hit the subscribe button and the notification button. If you haven't done that, it helps us. It does.
We appreciate it.
Plus, you'll know when we're doing something, because actually that leads me to another point. We are going to be changing the day and the time of our show when we do the live stream. Of course, the reruns the replays will always be up, so you can always get those at youtube.com/C/refroom. Find the channel, bookmark it if you like. But we'll have lots of great content, because we actually are going to plan on doing more short videos and some more educational stuff throughout next season. So I don't mean next hockey season. I mean next year.
Yep.
We've got one week left. I can't believe we're already at Christmas, and New Year is right around the corner. I mean, it's hard to believe the year went fast again, as always. Now it might go slow over the next 2 weeks because we won't be skating, the numerous games a day that we've been doing, because it has slowed down a little bit. For two reasons. Obviously, time of season, as we mentioned, with Christmas coming next Saturday and New Year's the following Saturday. So it's a little quiet. Plus, some of the leagues have decided to take a short hiatus. Somebody told me, did Hoffman cancel all games, I think.
Oh, I haven't.
I've heard. And I don't know if that's because they have the Wolves there. The Wolves practice out of there. So it could have something to do with that. I don't know, but I was told that they canceled their games. I know I had one coming at Hoffman. I don't know if I still have it or if it's been canceled, because even my game for tonight got canceled. It wasn't at Hoffman, but my game for tonight got canceled. It was a high school game, so I'm sure a lot of us are experiencing some postponements or cancellations right now. Men's league too.
Gotta just get through it.
Yeah, some of the buildings are not shutting down, but they've shut the leagues down for like 2 weeks. Try to get the ship righted, I guess. I don't know, man. It's gonna get interesting. I live in the city. I don't know what we're gonna be dealing with starting January 3rd. So.
Yeah. Well, let's get over the negative. Let's just say Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
That's how
exactly.
I roll.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll just keep it moving. But fortunately, we're we got our season going. It's been a good season so far. Lots of great games, lots of hockey. And doesn't get any better than that, I mean, that's.
I agree 100%. I skated so much, I'm exhausted.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this break is probably really good for a lot of us, me included. Yeah. As much as, we fight it, this is probably a really good break for us because we have all worked so many games and, done more than our, hopefully everybody's done more than their fair share, and I think they have because we've covered most of these games, which is just incredible. So,
A lot of work there. There's a lot of work behind the scenes. There's a lot of referees that have said, yep, I'll stand up and do this. So, hey, you know what? I'm going to say this just from hockey standpoint. Thanks to everybody getting it done. Like, it's a lot. I know there's a lot of referees that have skated singles, solos, which can be uncomfortable. Yep. And also, it's also maybe out of your comfort zone. Yep. So, thank you guys. That's the way I can put it. So, I know that everybody's excited. Oh, we do have a little news. There is going to be another seminar coming up here in Illinois.
Okay.
So we haven't finalized that all out yet. It's in the planning process. It'll be sometime in January or early February. So just keep an eye out if somebody's looking for it. There's a lot of people asking about it.
Is it going to be level 1 only, or will it be more than level 1?
It'll probably be level 1 and level 2. In case there's been officials that were level 1s last year that have decided I'd like to officiate now. It's a little late in the season for us, but we're going to definitely have it. I know there's all kinds of talks, unless
it's good. I mean, if they get in now, they're good till next November 30th or whatever it is, or 30th.
As long as you get complete.
So yeah. Well, that's a challenge.
All right. Well, let's start pushing that.
Yeah.
Complete March 30th.
Well, one of the things for some of the newer guys, and even the guys that are returning, if you've struggled to pass your closed book test or your open book test, it's not the easiest thing. It does require some studying. You need to ask some questions. When you're in the ref room, this ref room, whatever. I mean, you've got friends, and I don't mean in a, like they're going to do the test for you, but, if you have a question, you got a situation, talk about it. Guys are happy to explain a situation or how to handle a penalty time. There's usually some penalty times on the tests, things of that nature. If you need some help with some of that stuff, guys will break it down for you. The refs are really good about sharing their knowledge with that sort of thing. And, we're all in this together. The better we can make our other officials, the better our life is all the way around for the entire hockey community. And that's our goal here.
I got a good tip for you with those penalties. All right. Draw a scoreboard and put it physically on the scoreboard like you would see it. Some people, I'm lucky enough, I just look at it and I'm okay. But when I first started doing these penalty situations, somebody suggested it to me, and that's what I did. And it actually made more sense at that time to do it that way than it did to me just reading it. So that's a tip from a very senior instructor.
It can be confusing sometimes, so that is a really good tip. And I think you can hear Frankie in the background. Yeah, she must be a dog out there. She's having a meltdown.
All right.
She's working now. She's a working dog.
Well, let's end it on that note, Scott. It's been a great week. Let's get ready for New Year's again.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy holidays, Happy New Year, all that good stuff. We will be back here at noon next Wednesday. Same bat time, same bat station.
Great Sunday morning, by the way. That was a great Sunday morning reference.
What's that?
That was a great Sunday morning reference.
Yeah.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Same bat station. Yep. That's right.
Yeah. Great Sunday morning.
That was the best. So happy holidays to all you guys that have been following us on this. And again, we will announce a new day and time for the new year. We probably need to do that next week. But, if you have the notification bell, again, Facebook or YouTube, if you click the notification bell, we encourage you to come over to YouTube. We love Facebook, but I would encourage you to come over to YouTube if you haven't and subscribe to the channel from there. and hit the subscribe button, notification button, and you'll know exactly when we come on. You'll get the alerts and all that good stuff, and probably a reminder and whatever else they decide to throw your way, which is we appreciate.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Ref Room,
Merry
buymeacoffee.com/Ref Room if you'd like to support the channel. Maybe you need to get rid of some money before the end of the year. You can buy coffee with it. For your tax purposes, you can buy coffee for us, I guess, if it's a business deduction. Is that a business deduction, buying coffee for your fellow referees? Because, you need to take care of them. I don't know if that's entertainment or if that's business deduction. Check with your accountant.
If you've learned anything, it's definitely a business deduction because then it's a class.
Right. There you go. Exactly.
We'll talk taxes next year.
Yeah, that'll be our next show. Taxes for referees. Although, actually, that might not be a terrible subject, to be honest with you. With all the travel we do and all the mileage that goes on the vehicles and the equipment and everything else, that might be something. Yeah, Karen.
We're not talking taxes.
Hey, let's try something new today if we can. If you guys all say goodbye before we leave, you can put a Merry Christmas up or whatever. I'm going to try to put some of these up before we exit the show. So give that a shot right now. So as they come in, I'm going to try to see if I can do this. This will be a new way to go out this year. I don't know if I have to change the amount of time that they stay up, but let's see if we can do it. So if any of you guys want to wish everybody a happy holiday or a happy new year, we'll try to put those up on the stream right now before we go. So I'll give you a second to do that. Nobody's doing it. All right, thanks, guys.
Have a good one.
I got Karen. That's it. Nobody else. All right. Maybe they're quicker with the whistle than they are with typing fingers. I don't know. Oh, here comes one. All right. So we can. Yeah. See. Watch. We can put them up here. So
I get what you're trying to do.
We'll put you up. Yeah. There you go. All right, so before we go, we'll just let everybody. Oh, see, they are going to click out, but I'll put Karen back up there again because Karen's one of our favorites, as everybody else. I know, we got a lot of loyal people that have helped follow the show here. So, yeah, they're all going to disappear. All right, with that, we're going to leave you guys. Happy holidays. Here's a couple more coming in. Let's just throw these up. I think one is
the one that says Merry Christmas. That says Facebook user right there.
Yeah, I think that's
me.
That's
I didn't
you.
click the link.
And then there's Alan from Skokie, our favorite scorekeeper from Skokie, Alan Gould. Does a great job always. So happy holidays to you, Alan, and to everybody else. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next Wednesday. It's the last show of the season, or the last show of the year, I should say. There's another one coming in. Yeah, we got a few Merry Christmases coming in. All right, so I'm Scott Smokin Silz on behalf of myself and my man Brad Baumruck. We thank you for joining us. Happy holidays, everybody.